We're Chant Doc. I'm here with Coach David Kelly. And Coach, big transition for you going to a little bit what you're doing now, more off-field roles, stuff like that. So how's that been for you? Do you feel a little more comfortable kind of in this role?
Well, I tell you what, I don't know if it was a big transition, so to speak. Probably those who didn't understand what our organizational makeup was coming in. And that was the plan for me to be in this role from the outset when I first got here. And then because of the NCAA imposed IEWP rule, which hopefully someone listening to me can explain it better than I'm aware of it, it seemed like it adjusts based on the scenario. But anyway, because of that, it caused us to have to make some adjustments in that particular regard and all. But now I'm really in the position that I came here to do initially. And I feel like by all of us being in the position that's initially desired, it's going to make us a lot more effective in what we have going on.
Sure. I want to ask you a little about recruiting. I know you can't talk specifics, but obviously you guys are off to a great start for the 2020 class. You got a ton of verbal commitments already. Where are you guys at this point compared to where you were last year in recruiting?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's an interesting question in that regard, because it seemed like it was just about a month ago I was hearing about how horrible we were in recruiting and how we don't know what we're doing and all. And I tell you, because our process is a little bit different than most, and probably some would say unorthodox, that a lot of times there are certain periods where it'll look like all these other schools are getting the jump on us or running away with it and all. What are we doing? But it's all a part of how we process and our strategy and how we do things. And as I told the coaches, the staff, and everyone else, just trust the process. Don't evaluate us at midpoint of the second quarter. Let's wait till the game is over, then formulate your evaluation. That's what I'm still saying. Right now, we're doing an excellent job. We position ourselves in a great position. And that, along with us knowing that we're going to have an outstanding football season, I feel really good about our recruiting class. I think, don't quote me on this, because somebody on Twitter be saying I got my facts wrong, which they're probably accurate in that regard. But I think we went into the season last year against Virginia Tech ranked 6th in the country in recruiting, I think. And this year we're very close to that and all. So I can say I'm happy with where we are at this point, where we position ourselves. Now it comes down to winning football games, and we understand that. And once that transpires, you have to remember we are Florida State, and that brand reigns supreme. So.
Well, you mentioned the unorthodox approach, and I think one of those, and it may be why maybe this class is ahead of last year's class, and that's because when you get a verbal commitment, I know you want guys to be a lot more firm, not going around taking visits, unlike last year, maybe a little bit more, so more of a chance for decommitments. Do you guys feel a little bit better about that? You've done this, that these guys are a lot more solid, this group that's already in?
Well, I tell you what, we really went to what we believed in all along. We couldn't fully implement it prior to now because we were just getting our footsteps wet in a new scenario and all, but it's kind of the same thing. Probably if you went home and told your wife, yeah, we're married, but I still want to look around. Well, I don't know.
Ain't going to play.
I don't know how well she's going to take that, and it's kind of similar to us. Yeah. We tell our recruits, we're going to recruit the heck out of you, love you to death. But if you still want to look around, if you still want to see other things, we respect that, go ahead. But do not commit until you're absolutely sure this is where you want to be and everything else is done. And we've gone with that. We got a group that we feel really good about who've made that commitment. They've made that commitment to each other. And that's the type of foundation that builds championships. And that's how we feel with the two classes that we've had, that we've gotten here thus far, that to some people, quote unquote, they weren't ranked this high in the recruiting rankings and all, which is all good and fine, but every one of those classes that we've had, we can't say that we've had one quote unquote bust in the group. And it's because of the intangibles that most people can't see or don't look for. So we're very happy with that. We're extremely happy with the group that is committed to us at this point in time. Now we just have to go do what we need to do on the football field and let it finish off strong.
Yeah, I don't know numbers-wise, but it seems like seeing you guys, what you did in the spring with junior days, the camps, everything else, it seemed like you had even a lot more guys in, and I know that's a function that you're able to devote more time to the recruiting process or what's going on, but did you guys bring in a lot more guys just to come see the campus, visit the coaches, watch the practices this year?
Well, I tell you what, again, that was always our thrust, and where people miss on us, that we're never about getting huge numbers on campus. We're more about quality over quantity, so that they have a fulfilling experience when they come and they remember that when they leave. And led with Willie Taggart, I mean, I hear about all these head coaches who are quote-unquote great recruiters and all, and he's understated in his effectiveness, trust me. But led by his leadership and all, and the work of our coaches, the work of our staff, that's what created that aura. That's what got so many kids, even after a 5 and 7 season, still interested in what Florida State is all about. And I attribute that, 1, to Willie Taggart and his leadership, 2, the work ethic of our coaches and staff, and 3, definitely not to be understated, the value of this Florida State brand.
I didn't want to take personal credit, but being able to devote more time to recruiting than maybe you did last year, obviously getting thrust in that assistant coach role, you couldn't devote as much energy as you wanted to recruiting. Do you think that's had an effect on this?
Well, I don't know if it's had an effect as far as numbers and all is concerned. I think the main 3 variables are what I just spoke about and all. But obviously, the more time that you can put towards any one specific entity allows you to be more successful or more effective as far as the process that you're putting in place. So it has given us more time to do things of that nature and all. And with anything, there's goods and there's bads to it and that type of deal, but it does allow us to be have our focus more in that particular area. Because as we always say, the key to success for any organization, team, entity is the acquisition of quality personnel. So yes, our focus in it, no doubt, is having a resounding effect in a positive manner.
Last thing I want to ask you about is you guys, at least in terms of verbals, you guys are getting pretty close to that top limit there. So you go into a fall, only a couple spots left in there. How do you kind of handle recruiting for the 2020 class with just, like I said, a handful of spots left to get commitments from?
Well, what it does is it allows us, 1, to go back and focus on the young men that have committed to us and give them the time that they deserve and all, because they have made the commitment. 2, we can really hone in on the few remaining need areas that we have, and as far as the 2020 class is concerned, we've answered many of those, but there's still a couple out there that's looming that we want to get stronger in. And then the third thing is where we're finally catching up to the Clemsons, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Ohio States. Our in-state rivals is the fact that now we've been in place, we are already heavily involved with recruiting, identifying, evaluating, recruiting underclassmen. And that's the name of the game nowadays as far as how fast the recruiting cycle is sped up.
All right. Appreciate it, Coach Kelly. Good luck to you this season.
Thank you very much.